Listen, you think she is not interested and you are reading the signals all wrong. You think that distance means disinterest, and you think silence means she has moved on. But what if I told you she has been thinking about you more than you realize? And here is the part that is going to sound crazy. The colder she acts, the more obsessed she might actually be. Stay with me because this gets wild. Most men miss these signs completely and they give up right when she is starting to obsess. They walk away right when her brain is working overtime trying to figure them out. But there is one specific sign that reveals everything, and when I tell you what it is, you are going to replay every interaction you have had with her and you are going to see patterns you completely missed. I am going to show you the hidden signals that reveal she is thinking about you constantly, even when she acts like she does not care, even when she seems cold or distant, even when every surface level sign says she is not interested. And here is what nobody tells you. There is a psychological phenomenon that happens in a woman's brain when she is attracted to someone but trying to hide it. And once you understand this, you will never misread her signals again. But first, we need to talk about the biggest mistake you are probably making right now, and that mistake creates painful confusion because everything you think you know is backwards. Picture this. She takes hours to text back. When you run into her, she seems casual, almost too casual. She does not initiate conversations anymore, and when you are together, she acts like you are just another person in her day. You start questioning everything, and you tell yourself, maybe I read this wrong, maybe she was never interested, maybe I should just move on. But here is what is actually happening, and this is going to flip everything you thought you knew. When a woman is deeply attracted to you, her brain enters a state psychologists call defensive avoidance, and this is a real response rooted in emotional self-protection and nervous system regulation. It sounds fake at first, but stay with me because this explains everything you have experienced. Here is what you need to understand. Women do not show interest the way men do. When a man is interested, he pursues and he makes it obvious and he closes distance. But when a woman is deeply attracted and thinking about you nonstop, she often does the opposite. She creates distance and she tests you and she watches how you respond to her pulling back. Why does she do this? Because attraction for women comes with fear, including fear of rejection, fear of seeming too eager, fear of losing power in the emotional dynamic, and fear of being emotionally exposed. So her brain does something counterintuitive. It tells her to pull back to protect herself. And here's the part that is going to make you rethink every cold response you have ever gotten. The more she is thinking about you, the more she might act like she is not, because thinking about you scares her and makes her vulnerable, and her defense mechanism is to create emotional distance while her mind obsesses over you privately. But here is where it gets interesting. There are 7 unmistakable signs that expose this internal conflict, and sign number 4, when you see it, there is zero doubt she is obsessed. I will get to that in a moment, but first let me show you the patterns that reveal what is really going on in her head and the hidden signs and what her behavior is actually telling you. Before we go deeper, do one thing for me and mentally lock in, because what is coming next is going to give you clarity you have never had before, and it will change how you interpret attraction permanently. Sign number 1, she watches you when she thinks you are not looking, and this is huge. Most men never catch this because they are too busy trying to get her attention directly. Women are observant by nature, and when she is genuinely thinking about you, she studies you, your body language, who you talk to, how you carry yourself, and how others respond to you. You might catch her glancing your way in a group setting, or notice her eyes following you across the room. But here is the key detail. She looks away the second you make eye contact. That instant look away is not disinterest. It is her being caught in the act. In the digital world, this shows up differently. She views your stories within minutes of you posting, and she likes old posts from weeks ago, and she checks your profile when she thinks you will not notice. Why does this matter? Because attention is currency, and where her attention goes, repeatedly, her mind follows. And here is what most guys do not realize. If she is watching you secretly, she is also imagining scenarios with you and conversations you have not had and situations that do not exist yet. That is not casual interest, that is obsession forming quietly. Sign number 2, she remembers small details you mentioned weeks ago, and this is where the pattern becomes obvious. You casually mentioned you had a presentation coming up, and 2 weeks later she asks how it went. You told her once about your favorite band, and she brings them up in conversation like it is no big deal. You might think she is just being nice or that she has a good memory, but listen carefully. Most people forget 90% of what you tell them within 24 hours, and that is how human memory works. But when someone is thinking about you constantly, they replay your conversations and store details and build a mental file on you. And here is the crazy part: she probably does not even realize she is doing it. Her brain is subconsciously prioritizing information about you over everything else. If she remembers that you do not like olives, that your sister's name is Emma, that you have a scar from a childhood bike accident you mentioned once in passing, she has been thinking about you far more than she is letting on. Sign number 3. Her friends know about you and they act strange around you, and this is one of the most reliable signs there is. Her friends mention you, or when you are around them, they exchange looks with her. They might tease her subtly or act like they know something you do not. Maybe they smile knowingly when you walk into a room, or one of them accidentally says something like, "Oh, so you are the guy from," and then catches herself. Women talk to their friends about the people occupying their headspace, and it is how they process attraction and confusion. If her friends know who you are without you having spent much time around them, that means you have been a frequent topic of conversation. She is asking them for advice about you and analyzing your texts with them and telling them stories about interactions you have had. You are living rent-free in her mind and in her group chat. And when her friends start acting different around you, it is because they have heard enough about you to form opinions and emotional investment. Now, we are about to get to sign number 4, and this is the big one that confirms everything. But first, you need to understand something most men completely misinterpret. Sign number 4, she initiates contact randomly, then disappears again. This is the sign that confuses men the most, and it is also the most powerful indicator of obsession. She will text you out of nowhere with something random like a meme or a question or a "this reminded me of you" message that seems low stakes. You respond and the conversation feels good and you think maybe she is interested. Then she disappears again for days or even a week, and you start thinking, what did I do wrong? But here is what is actually happening in her head, and it is backed by psychology. She reached out because she could not stop thinking about you, and the urge built up until she had to make contact. But the moment she did, her fear kicked in, and she thought, am I being too obvious? Am I giving him too much power? So she pulled back, not because she lost interest, but because she was trying to maintain control over her emotions. This is called approach avoidance conflict, and it happens when attraction and fear exist at the same time. She reaches out just enough to stay on your radar, but pulls back before revealing too much. And the proof she is thinking about you constantly is in the timing. She reaches out right when she thinks you might be forgetting about her, and that is not random at all. Sign number 5, she gets slightly different around you compared to others, and this is subtle but everywhere once you know how to see it. With most people she is one way, but with you something shifts. Maybe she is more guarded, or maybe she laughs harder at your jokes. Her voice might change pitch, or she might touch her hair more or break eye contact quicker. These are not just nervous habits, they are stress responses. Stress here does not mean discomfort, it means emotional stimulation. People who do not matter create neutrality. People who matter change our nervous system. If she builds walls around you, it is because you have the power to affect her. Sign number 6, she tests you, and most men fail without realizing it. She might mention another guy casually to see if you get jealous, or cancel plans to watch your reaction, or go cold suddenly to see if you chase. These are unconscious tests, and they are designed to see if you are emotionally secure or reactive. When a woman is thinking about you seriously, she needs to know you can handle pressure and uncertainty. Sign number 7, and this reveals what you should do next. The man who can sit in uncertainty without forcing outcomes, without chasing, and without collapsing emotionally is the man who stands out. Attraction grows where safety and mystery coexist. Trust the signs, trust yourself, and do not rush clarity. If this helped you see things differently, drop a comment with the word aware and stay connected, because what comes next is about turning curiosity into action in a grounded and confident way.